That breaking news that I brought you has obviously meant that we need to have another little chat with Simon Marks. He's going to be on this programme tonight as often as he was last night, I think. So the news that these Greenland-related tariffs on various EU countries and Britain are now being cancelled, that was after, I think, he met with Mark Rutter, the NATO chief, in Davos. Simon, what else do you know?
Well, we're 1-1 on the programme tonight, Ian. You said that Trump always chickens out, and I said I wasn't sure that he does, but what I was sure of is that he wants Mark Rutte to be the point person in negotiations to acquire him Greenland. And we've had this message posted on President Trump's social media account confirming that he is chickening out of the tariffs, but also confirming that he wants Mark Rutte to help America get its hands on Greenland. He says he had a very productive meeting with the Secretary General of NATO. And remember, Mark Rutte is the man that has been deployed on numerous occasions by the alliance to try and talk Donald Trump down from various precipices. He's the man who has referred to Donald Trump in a joking manner as daddy. And Donald Trump has never forgotten it. He absolutely is enthused over that description of him and that reference to the role that he thinks he plays within NATO. Well, the president says, based on his conversations with Mark Rutte today, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region, whatever that means. And he says that if this solution is consummated, it will be a great one for the USA and all NATO nations. And based on those developments, he's decided he's scrapping the February the 1st 10% tariffs that were going to wreak fresh havoc for the economy of the UK and 7 of its fellow NATO members. He says that discussions are now going to be overseen on the American side by Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and various others as needed, and that they will be reporting directly to the President of the United States. But what is unspoken in all of this is how the Danes and the Greenlanders feel about this outcome, and whether the Danish government, which said today it has absolutely no interest in a conversation with the United States about handing over the ownership of Greenland to the United States, is going to play ball with this and with this effort by Mark Rutte to try and bring about some kind of solution. Plus questions, of course, for our own government, for the French, for the Germans. What kind of guarantees have they had from the NATO Secretary General that he's not going to sell Greenland down the river and make arrangements for the United States to acquire it? Because Donald Trump was absolutely clear in his speech in Davos today that acquisition is the name of the game. It's the only thing he will accept. You can't defend a territory unless you own it, he said today. So I think a raft of fresh questions now for European government officials about whether they have negotiated any kind of an agreement with Mark Rutte to take this issue forward with the Americans, and whether they have full confidence in his ability to defend the territorial integrity of Greenland and Denmark, or whether the fix is now in and Greenland is about to be sold down the river.
A terrible thought has just struck me, Simon, that you don't think that he's got Dutch and Dane mixed up, do you? Because obviously Mark Rutte is a Dutchman, and whether he might have confused the two things there.
No, I think it's unlikely, although I'm intrigued by this reference to a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. I wonder if that is an effort by the president to paper over the mistakes that he made in his speech today when he kept referring to Iceland instead of Greenland. The White House press secretary, I can tell you, is denying that he ever said Iceland, even though we all heard it multiple times. So there's obviously some embarrassment about that. I think in Mark Rutte, he sees someone that he believes he can work with, because, you know, Mark Rutte has applied a limitless amount of baby oil to Donald Trump over the course of the last 12 months. There is no official that has entered Donald Trump's White House and sat alongside him in the Oval Office more willing to massage the ego of America's president. That's the position in which Mark Rutter has placed himself, and now he's about to gamble his entire career and his reputation on whether he can reach some sort of compromise with Donald Trump over Greenland that does not involve ownership of the territory being transferred to the United States.
You mentioned a phrase earlier that I think Trump used on his Trump social platform, consummating a solution. I'm going to go to the break now, leaving that vision in everyone's mind. Simon Marks, thank you very much indeed. It's 7:46.